Hey there guys, welcome back to ARTFX Studios. This is another lead design video, and today I want to talk about how to make a sine wave lead that you hear a lot in chill out music. So I'm working on this track, it's pretty much done, and this track will be released soon as a free download. And the lead I'm talking about is this one. So, in the full context of the track, this will actually sound like...
Space.
So that's it. I'm talking about that sine wave lead that you can hear in here. So I'm going to turn off the effects that are on here. And that one. And let's get started. So this sound is really simple to make. Really simple. The basics of the sound is the sine wave. So it's just a standard sine wave. I pitched it up 2 octaves, so it's already in the higher register, and I applied a low pass filter, which is not doing any filtering, by the way. The only thing I'm using the low pass filter for is to create some additional harmonics using saturation on the actual sine wave, because a sine wave from itself is just one frequency, and I want that sine wave to have a little bit more upper harmonics, and you can do that by saturating the sound. So you have 2 knobs on the filter right here, on the normal filters. You have 2 knobs, one called drive and the other one called fat. Now, they basically do the same thing. They both make your sound louder, except that the fat makes everything louder without applying additional saturation. So it's not applying saturation to create additional harmonics, while the drive knob is actually creating additional harmonics by saturating the sound and therefore bringing up the volume. So it's a really easy tool to use. Just put it on a low pass filter, bring that cutoff up all the way. You can play around with the resonance to sort of like get a little bit crispier high end, and then you simply use the drive knob to create that little bit of additional saturation to bring the level up. So that's what I did on the sound, and just without any of the effects, it sounds like that. So on the effects tab, I have enabled the delay. It's set to a 1/4 dotted timing, and I'm using the filter to scoop out all of the low end, just using the high end and the mids to make the delay signal. So that's really filling out those gaps in the faster parts where the notes are a little bit faster. And I like that. Then I have a reverb with a really high mix setting, about 50%, just below 50. Quite a high size, I think. It's not really a small reverb. It's pretty high. I brought the pre-delay down, low cutting it, just slightly, high cutting it, just a little bit, just to make it sound that it has a little bit more ambience, because it sounds quite dry from itself. That reverb really gives a nice tail sound to the sound, a nice tail release, reverby kind of thing. Then I decided to add a compressor, which is basically just bring up the volume and compressing the sound so that the reverb and delay come closer to the initial transient of each note. Because what happens when you strike a note, you're gonna have that initial transient, which is much louder than the rest of the sound, because the rest is just a reverb and delay. Because I have this really sharp amp envelope right here that's just creating a plucky sound. So we have the initial transient, and then it goes straight down, all the way down towards nothing. So we don't have a release on this sound. It's just a reverb and a delay. But I can make the delay and the reverb louder without a compressor by bringing the mix knob up. But that means that we're gonna lose a lot of the original sound, and I don't want that. So in fact, what I did is I used the compressor to do this. So the compressor is compressing the sound, but it's taking a little bit of time because of this attack setting. Each time a note is being triggered, it will take a small amount of time before the compressor actually responds, and then it starts to compress the signal down. So without the makeup gain right here, we will actually get a quieter reverb and delay signal. And because of the attack, the initial transient of the note is going to be the same. So what we would be doing with this, if we would keep the gain all the way down, is that we are actually doing the exact opposite of what I want to achieve. I'm now making the reverb and delay quieter by compressing them. I don't want that, so after compressing the reverb and delay, which is not really needed, I could have done it without, but compressing that downwards and then bringing the makeup gain back up will in fact bring up the release, or it will bring up the delay and the reverb signal, and therefore bringing those two together closer to the initial transient of the sound. So now everything is much more evened out in volume. Sounds much better. Then, that's it for the entire patch in Serum. I've got 2 effects on here. One Valhalla Room set to the LV426 medium hall preset. Brought the pre-delay down, and the mix is about 36%. That makes the sound have even more reverb. It's really with Chillout synths, it's definitely they are drenched in reverb, and that is what gives it the atmospheric, the ambient kind of sound. So you can hear. Really makes it sound much better. Then, as a mixing thing, I've also added a auto filter, which is applying a little bit of filtering. Now, as you know, sine waves are single frequencies, so filtering this is not really going to do much, but we've used deceleration to actually create additional harmonics. So when I filter this now, I am actually going to get some filtering. It's mostly filtering out the high end in the reverb signal. So other than that, it's not really doing that much. You can hear it. Sounds almost the same. Then I decided to add even more reverb, but this one is also applied as a mixing element. I decided to do this when I was mixing this down, and it creates even more reverb on the sound. Then there are some other stuff going on the group track, as you can see, cutting out all the low end because we don't need that. Applying some additional compression, just a tiny little bit. Then saturating this no drive, just turn on the soft clipping just to make sure it's not going to exceed 0 dB. And finally a FabFilter Pro L, a limiter, just to bring up the volume. And that's about it. Now for the notes. The notes that I'm playing with this are the notes of a G major scale. So that's quite fun. I tried to do that in a major scale. This is not a minor scale track. It sounds quite euphoric, and that's because of the major scale. So this is a G major. G, A, B. Yeah, that's G major. And it's just playing that pattern. Basically, I found a chord progression that I liked, which was somewhere here. Yeah, it's like chord progression. And I based the melody sort of like on that chord progression. So together it all sounds really good. Now that's it for this entire sound. If you like these videos, then you can subscribe to this channel. I'm doing a lot of these videos and I will be doing even more. You can also follow me on social media where you can ask for requests for certain sounds. You can find the social media links down at the bottom of the screen. You can just send me requests and I will try to do a video about it. It's not that I can do every sound. It depends on what kind of sound it is. I don't know how to make each sound. But if I do know how to get close, I will do a video about it. That's not being said that I will perfectly recreate it. There's always going to be a small amount of room for error. But I will do it the best I can. Now, other than that, I hope you like this video. There's a lot more videos coming soon. Keep an eye on this channel. And other than that, I hope to see you back tomorrow. Peace.